Today I'm going to find out if people consider graffiti as art or vandalism and why. I believe that graffiti is widely accepted as art, but I am here with PC Hallkit to find out the authoritative perspective on the matter. So does the police force consider graffiti as a very serious offence, and if so, why?
Metropolitan Police Service does consider graffiti, which is criminal damage at the end of the day, a serious offence. It causes thousands of pounds worth of damage, and that's why it's taken very seriously.
How do the police try and prevent people from vandalising public property with graffiti?
To be frank with you, we can't. We can't stop people from putting up graffiti wherever they're going to do it. That's why they do it at 2 o'clock in the morning when no one's about, because if they're seen, they're likely to be arrested. But what we do is we give crime prevention advice to members of the public, companies and schools in relation to how to reduce it.
Now that I've spoken to PC Hallkit and found out his view, I'm going to ask a graffiti artist about what he does. Why do you spray paint?
I've always done art. I like drawing. I like a cross medium of different arts, but you get to a certain age where the art you do at school is kind of boring. I just want to do something a bit more exciting, to be honest.
Is there a reason you started spray painting?
My friend's older brother was very big, and his friends were very big, and they're known around in my area, and he really wanted to do it. None of my friends wanted to join him doing it, and he kept asking me, because I do art. He was like, come do it sometime. And then I lost my grandma, and there was loads of stuff going on at home, and I didn't really want to be at home. And I didn't really want to be at home at night either, so I tend to go out at night, and it's the ideal time to go do something.
Is the family member the main reason you started to spray paint?
It's the reason I tell my mum if I get in trouble. But no, it was like the last step. That's the why I did it, like the pushing factor.
Now that I've spoken to PC Hallkit and a graffiti artist, I'm going to talk to an art teacher to see how they teach subjects like street art. How do you balance teaching graffiti without encouraging vandalism?
In one of our Year 9 projects, that's very much the theme of one of the projects, and we look at obviously Banksy. It's really popular with our students, and we talk about what the difference between Banksy's artwork is and the sort of tagging and things that a lot of the students kind of see even around the school in their local area. What they recognise is that street art, like Banksy, is something that's much more considered, and that actually gains a lot more respect from people looking at artwork. It leaves much more of an impression. It actually deals with issues that are going on socially, politically. So we encourage them to express and communicate themselves in that way using street art, whereas with graffiti it's something that's really quite meaningless and doesn't, there's not really much point to it. So we just make it really clear to them the difference between what I would kind of suggest is, kind of tagging and graffiti, and make a clear difference between that and street art that is something that's much more interesting, engaging, and has an actual impact.
Having heard a legal, a personal and an educational perspective on this issue, I wanted to find out what the public thought.
I think that graffiti is an art form in the streets, and it's personally I really like it. I think that it gives some sort of like colour and vibes to it, whereas others, they kind of think that it's just vandalism.
There is some like art element to it, but I think mainly like these are people's properties. It belongs to other people. Like it's like I wouldn't come into your house and start drawing over your stuff. Yeah, so in a way it is vandalism because it doesn't belong to them. They're basically putting their own stuff on other people's stuff, which is, it's illegal. Yeah, it's like taking something and claiming it as your own.
I think graffiti should be considered art, especially when it's commissioned graffiti. When it's commissioned, I think it should be considered as art rather than vandalism.
I think it's street art because, you know, it shows a different aspect of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't want to see all the paintings in the galleries. We want to see the nice stuff on the street. Like, it shows a different world to what people think art is.
From everything that I found out today, I would suggest that people see graffiti as art, especially when it is commissioned. But I think it often comes down to the definition of street art and what is included in this term. However, some still hold a strong view that any graffiti is vandalism. I'm not sure that people will ever be united on this issue, and I'm sure we'll continue to debate on whether it is art or vandalism for years to come.